Hello everybody, today I'm going to talk to you about diet-friendly wines and more specifically what types of wines are diet-friendly, how to find them, and why the advertisement might be a little bit tricky. Stick around, grab a glass, we'll be right to it. So, today I want to talk a little bit about diet-friendly wines, and I'm going to summarize it very simply. Dry wines are good for your diet. In moderation, yes, of course. But the point being, more specifically, a lot of people are very concerned about the caloric content of wine and how they are afraid that if they are in a carb counting or they need to have so many calories maximum per day, that if they have wine that it's going to throw their numbers out, because if you look online you can find values for wine's calories. I'll explain as to how your body processes those calories, but the point being that dry wines, as an overall summary, are your best bet and your safest bet, in moderation, if they are dry and they will not affect your diet. Okay, I can't emphasize that enough. That is a tremendous point of confusion for a number of people, and this is actually the second video that we're doing about this point. And some of the questions that seem to have come up specifically about wines and diets is what types of wine are diet friendly, how to find diet friendly wines, aka what you should really be looking for, and why do they have wine advertised as diet-friendly or zero carbs or zero sugar? It's a little tricky, that one. And how does your body process alcohol? So I'll try my best to not get into really heavy chemistry here because, hey, we all want to enjoy wine. We don't want to understand the great details of how everything came together, and try to give you sort of a superficial or a more overview of the entire process. Starting off with what types of wines are diet friendly. There's a general rule of thumb here. Basically, wines that are low in residual sugar. That's the key thing. Anything that says that it has, in general, below 5 grams per liter sugar. Now, this information may not be easy to find on all wines. In fact, here in Ontario, it's not something that we're required by law to list on the label. We do provide this information on our website, specifically if you look into product specifications. Some wineries do actually put the residual grams per liter of sugar on either the back of their labels, and others may actually talk to you about it when you are there in person. But essentially, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that magic number to be under 5 grams per liter of sugar. And here's why. So the sugar that is listed, or what we perceive as sugar, is a catch-all. There are many different types of sugar. Some of the sugars that you commonly find in wines tend to be glucose and fructose. Now you're more familiar with these as sucrose specifically, or table sugar is the more common term. And basically this type of sugar, glucose and fructose, is almost 100% converted into alcohol as the yeast ferments or uses up the sugar to produce the alcohol and the CO2. We've kind of explained this in other videos about how wine is generally made. Now, what those residual 5 grams are is there are additional sugars that the grapevines produce in the vineyard, but they're more complex. They're very, very large chains of carbohydrates. Again, I don't want to bore you to death with it, but there's a number of them that the yeast cannot ferment. One of the good things about this information, though, is that your body cannot process those sugars either. So although they are present, they have no caloric effect on your body. Next, how to find diet-friendly wines. Well, again, this sort of relates to the first point that I was trying to address. You have to talk or find out more information and do a bit of research on the actual wine you want to enjoy to see, okay, what are the specifications for the residual amount of sugar? If you can't find this on a website or on a label, most wineries are more than happy to disclose this information to you at no charge. It might just take you a few minutes to write an email. In our situation here at King's Court, we have a number of wines that are indeed under 5 grams per liter of residual sugar, and they are considered to be dry wines. some of the dry wines that we produce here at King's Court. So probably the most favorite of my own would be the 16 Cabernet Franc. Absolutely, this wine has less than 4 grams of residual sugar and is very, very low in calories. Okay, it tastes wonderful too, by the way. And as for the people who prefer whites, well, there's a number of selections. You could try the Chardonnay, you could try the Vidal, the Pinot Blanc, and heck, even the Pinot Grigio that we have, both the 17 and the 16, they are absolutely dry, to the point where a lot of people oftentimes think that, oh, these wines aren't dry, but yes, they are dry. Now, why do they have wine advertised as diet-friendly and 0 carbs and 0 sugar? Well, this is it's a good marketing ploy, and I'll try to explain as clearly as possible. So your body, when it consumes alcohol, actually needs calories or sugar in the form of sugar to process the alcohol, which is a toxic substance, into non-toxic substances. This is what your liver does. This is why when you drink a whole bunch of alcohol, you frequently need to go to the bathroom very, very frequently. And that's because your body's getting rid of toxins. And those toxins tend to be the byproducts of the processing of the alcohol out of your bloodstream into components that can be filtered out by the kidneys. And so therefore the term diet friendly it really is a very good marketing ploy, because it says that, okay, there are 0 carbs, which is true, because if it is a dry wine, then the amount of carbohydrates or calories that you're consuming from the consumption of the alcohol, your body actually needs the equivalent number of carbohydrates or calories to process that and get rid of the alcohol out of your system. We've kind of explained this in a little bit more detail in Is Wine Healthy? And you're more than welcome to look back at that and get a bit more of an understanding of how that works. And then finally, the last question is how does your body process alcohol? And again, without showing you an actual biological diagram of the entire chain of how this works, this was covered in my grade 10 biology class, and I didn't sleep through it, I will tell you that. But the process is basically your body needs, or your liver specifically needs, a certain amount of energy in the form of sugar to process the alcohol. So if you say, a simple example, 100 calories is what your alcohol would provide if it was purely caloric, and you require an equivalent amount of calories for your liver to process those 100 calories of alcohol into byproducts that are deemed to that your body can dispose of, that you can get rid of. And so therefore it's kind of a bit of a misnomer that it's 0 carb, because drinking dry wine, there are no carbs really. You're going to run into a bit of a challenge though, of course, if you end up drinking sweeter wines, because there will indeed be residual calories that stick around. But don't be too concerned. There are a number of different dry products out on the market, and it's really easy to find if you speak to either your advisor or, your wine advisor, either at the LCBO or even here at the winery. Our retail staff are very knowledgeable about wines that are essentially very, very diet friendly, because they have no additional calories in terms of their regular consumption. I hope that's answered all the questions that we've received. And if you have any more, please drop us a like and subscribe. Let us know. We're happy to answer them. Thank you very much, my vinous friends, and happy drinking.